we can have, yeah. We have now stories of hope, and we are switching to solar energy. Our first speakers are a twin. He is not only one, there are two speakers. This is Deepal Chandra Baru and Mr. Sengupta, and they are talking about solar home systems. So, please, where?
They don't know that they have to present.
No, they have no.
All right, then we can start with another one.
Yeah. So we have the next. This is Vidya Sagar, please. And this is as well a story about successful biodigester projects. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We are running an NGO called SKGS Sangha, which is a non-profit organization working mainly on energy and agriculture, and we have linked it up to the climate change. And it's working in 8 states in India, and it's based in India, and we have extended the work to 10 other countries, like Kenya, Uganda, Mali, Senegal, Egypt, Honduras, Nicaragua, Chile, Peru, etc. And we have found some basic problems with mainly rural folk. We are not concentrating on urban areas because many people work on that. Governments also give preference for urban areas. So what we have understood is energy is a basic thing for both food security as well as for health and prosperity. So what we did, for energy security in villages, we have resorted to solar energy, biomass, biogas, as well as wood gas fires, microhydro projects, etc. And for food security, if you go on using chemical fertilizers, you all know that land will not yield after some time. And now the major problem for cancer in many countries is chemicalization of life, which is again pesticides residues in the food. So we wanted to provide an alternative for this, which is biofertilizers and pesticides. Whereas we have found that the biogas plant spent slurry is a good culture for degrading even hardwood. And why we had to degrade hardwood is, for composting, it takes a lot of time. So lesser the time, more is the fertility value. So always we should try to reduce the composting time. So here we could reduce to 45 days. So the fertility value is excellent. And what we have done is, in villages, sanitation is also a big problem. Waste disposal is also a big problem. So through biogas, since we use animal waste and other waste, even human excreta, it's a way where we can provide good sanitation. Might be, except in a few developing countries like Mali and other things where we don't see much open defecation, but in many Asian countries and East African countries, this is a problem. So we could solve this problem with biodigesters, and it provides a culture that can be used for degrading other waste. Many agriculture waste, it's difficult to compost because it's hard and it's fibrous. By mixing this, we successfully could do that. And we have also developed a system of vermicomposting with biogas spent slurry, which is giving tons and tons of organic fertilizers. And in many countries like Mali, Senegal, people do not have money to invest on agriculture. But the population is growing and the food production is coming down, what we should do. So we should provide them methods to produce food without much investment. So here, ways of using the available waste to produce good compost, enough for their agriculture lands, by that the production should go up. And water is also an important issue. Wherever you use more organic matter in the land, the water retention capacity of the land goes up. By that, the frequency of irrigation comes down. And coming to the last, we have linked up all these things to climate change. And we are very much famous in the world for our biodigester projects because we could reduce the cost of the beneficiaries to the minimum and increase the quality of the units. And our units have a minimum lifetime of 30 years. So here we are seeing that beneficiaries' contribution should not exceed 50%. And we are meeting the remaining cost through these carbon revenues. And you will be happy to know that we are able to reduce carbon emissions to the extent of 1 million tons. And we are getting about 265 euros for each biodigester by selling this carbon emissions in Asia, and about 500 euros in Africa, because people are willing to pay a little higher price for Africa, where people cannot afford. At the same time, the cost of the building materials and everything is high, where the unit is also costing more. And so far, we have built about 165,000 biodigesters, family size, in India. And we provide one biodigester to each family, which meets the cooking needs of about 12 people. Whereas in Africa, mainly West Africa, where the family size is very high, like 50, 100 people a family, there we are going for higher sizes like 20 cubic meters to 50 cubic meters a day. And biogas have a lot of benefits. It reduces the indoor air pollution. And you know that many developing and poor countries have small enclosures where the kitchen is not separate. So once they start cooking, the entire house encircles with smoke. This, again, mainly gives problem to the women and children, because majority population in these countries, women only cook, not men, and children are always with the mother, so they inhale this smoke and develop some health problems. And here, fuel wood problem is, it's not a renewable source, because what is happening, nobody plants trees, but they go on cutting. For example, in India, the forest cover has come down about 7%. So once you don't replant and just go on cutting, whatever available resources are going down. So this is a major alarming factor which we have to think. And all this firewood is being collected by children and women mostly. So it takes several hours. When I was a boy, we used to collect firewood next to our house. Many bushes were there. Now we have to travel several kilometers. So that job is entrusted to women and children. So it's a very big burden. Even children many times do not find time to go to schools. And this biogas is a clean fuel, does not emit any smoke, and it will not spoil the even parts. So cleaning of the parts, cleaning of the house also becomes easy. And the spent slurry of the biogas plant itself is a good organic fertilizer because it's humus. And it creates rural employment because we are clubbing this biogas with composting methods. By that, women make this and they sell and get some revenue from that. And reduces greenhouse gas. And each biogas plant reduces about 8 to 10 tons of carbon dioxide If you take a 2 cubic meter biogas produced per day size, so it's a highly saving when you take this carbon emissions. You see, in India, government is providing free LPG connections, liquefied petroleum gas connections. The problem is they take statistics. Okay, we have provided 1 million. So they say 1 million women have been empowered. The problem is they have to buy the refills every time. Each refill is around 600-700, which is beyond the reach of many families. Again, they go back for the firewood. And by using biogas, they can save the money which they are spending on gas, kerosene, or other chemical fertilizers. And water contamination will be reduced as mostly this waste leach will damage these water bodies. At the same time, even human and animal excreta, if it's not properly treated, it contains a lot of pathogens, you know. So that also is contaminating water. By treating this in a biogas plant, because of the anaerobic fermentation, all these pathogens are eliminated. Even weed seed will die in this. By that, weed will not spread. And this is a woman cooking on her firewood in Mali. See, because the family is big, they did not even chop the firewood. They are just using the logs. Sometimes they use this much thick logs also for cooking, where the family is even bigger than this. And not only women, even children are also, they always have to carry. So it affects both of them. And this is Senegal. Again, firewood is being collected by women and children. Whether it's Asia, Africa, or Central America, the plight is the same. And this is in Haiti, where we are doing a project where people use charcoal. And charcoal is a very big market. And for making charcoal, you know, they cut the available trees. You know, because of the very big earthquake, the forest cover was very, very minimum there. And in spite of that, if they still make coal, it will be very difficult for the country. And this is a biodigester where we provided in Egypt. And this is a biogas plant provided to a family of 120 members. This is a very large unit. In a photograph, it's showing as a small one. And in Africa, even in northeast of India, many places, electric power is not there. They are depending on either kerosene or battery LED lamps or something. So in such places, biogas lamp is a viable solution. So how we could penetrate the market is, if we say it provides an alternative for firewood, men were not attracted, and men take a decisions in West Africa. So what we said is, we provide lighting, because kerosene and other things men have to buy. By that they can save money if we provide this. So we attracted through lighting and could penetrate into the houses. And this is a biogas plant where the spent slurry, this is totally humus. So directly they can use. And to click this. Oh. This is a biogas stove in India. This is a blue flame with highly efficient. And this is in Africa, where women are excited to use this. My conclusion is, even today, majority of the families in the world in rural areas are using firewood. So it's high time that we should provide a suitable alternative. Thank you.
Thank you for the story of very successful working with biogas. So I think there are some questions about this, and I would like to ask you. Yeah, please.
In Europe, a biogas digester we'd expect to use some sort of highly nutritious material, like sort of silage, or not just waste, not just animal waste. So do you have to, that's my first question, is do you have to add anything to the human and animal excreta to make it work properly, some form of crop? And the second question is, how do you deal with risk of explosion?
Sorry?
How do you deal with risk of explosion? Because it's potentially quite dangerous.
I answer the second question first. So it's totally safe because biogas is about 60% methane. Methane is lighter than the weather. In case of butane, LPG, it spreads there and it's heavier than the weather, so it will not fly away. That's why whenever there is a spark, it explodes. In this case, since it's methane, it will just absorb into the atmosphere and there will not be any problem. And so far, out of these hundreds, thousands of units we have built, we had only one problem. That also, in a house, we built a unit, and next house woman pestering her husband, to go for a unit. So he got annoyed and put a match in the other person's plant. It exploded, and this fellow died. And the second one is, this is a totally natural way, biological way, so you need not add anything. Only thing is, there should be uniformity of the material. If you go on changing the material every day, gas production will come down. And only in case of the temperature is low, you have to augment with the temperature.
Yes. Yeah. It's a question of temperature and what you are putting in. And normally you have enough bacteria and molds inside naturally that it's not necessary to give some action to start. But the start is always not so very easy. Yeah? Sometimes you have to work a lot to make it running. So I know it by myself.
At the beginning, we use animal excreta because in the guts of the animal, that methanogens are there.
Yeah.
So slowly it develops in a big way.
Yeah, and in Germany there are a lot of biogas digesters working for every municipal power plant. What is this? Cleaning. What is this? has a biogas digester, and the industry, for example, the industry producing nutritions from everything, using potatoes to make starch, or for putting potatoes in for selling them, just they're ready to eat. So they all have these anaerobic digestants, and they use the gas for their own need. So there's a lot of energy they have. And in slaughterhouses, I have worked with slaughterhouses, they need a lot of methane and they have a very good slurry. So it's a really successful story, biogas.
It's the same in the UK. There are lots of biodigesters, but they always have to add protein or fat to really provide enough methane. Just excreta is not enough to make it work. So I was interested, it must be to do with temperature, I think, and a question of what people eat. With the cow, sort of cow excreta, the cow has already produced the methane through the gas and the farts. So there's not much methane left. So that's why you have to add, fresh grass is good. But I was just surprised that it's just excreta and that works fine. But it obviously does work, so that's the important thing.
No, for sure it is working. I'm really sure, and they made a mistake. The most important thing is that you have the right temperature. If you are trying to work with surrounding temperature in Great Britain, and it is about 10 degrees, then it will work, but it needs years. Because you can look to nature, there is no waste of slurry or something like that. It's degraded, but it's a question of temperature. The higher the temperature, the better it's working. So only one question, a short one, please.
Okay, thanks a lot. This is a very short question. We were just chatting about it, and we were wondering how you deal with the upfront cost, first of all, of building the biodigester and then of the stove itself, because we've heard that that is in many situations one of the biggest problems for these people.
What we do is, we always take upfront. We say, this is the project, and once we get validated, this may be the emissions. And if you pay us in advance, we will build and we will give you the credits.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your talk and the questions, the answers
My
to the
neighbor-
question.
My